Alright, and we are back. So let's see, our factories have been running away in the background here, just producing some of those lovely resources. Got a few hundred plates and a few hundred rods, and we can see about trying to unlock some more upgrades. It's going to be amazing how different this desert will look in the future. Much less of this sand and more wonderful steel and concrete everywhere. Alright, so, this is a certain mod, which I will actually hold off on unlocking right now. It's called Cheat HD, or Cheat Hard Drive, and essentially it would allow us to make our own hard drives, rather than trying to scavenge them from around the world. But I'd rather not use that right now. We could try to work towards getting geothermal, however it still would be a bit challenging because we need a lot more rods, and also we'd have to try to find it in the world. You know, we're pretty close to this, we just need to get some more reinforced plates so we can work towards better vehicles. And I think that might be our goal then. Let's see. It's almost overwhelming this early on trying to figure out what to build. You know what? Actually, we're going to go towards a special project. We are going to just bookmark that. So we're going to need a ton of concrete and a ton of wire and a decent amount of iron rods. So let's see how much wire we've had stored up. Because this will actually be something pretty important that we're going to need for every other tier 2 unlock. So it makes sense to try to build it soon. Running around. Ooh, the berries are ripe. And these are much better than the nuts. They actually restore a full health for us. Yeah, we can check mark certain things we want to do or build, and that'll make it a little easier to remember. So it looks like we actually still are going to need a lot of concrete. This is using 45 per minute, and that's producing 60. And I don't have any reinforced plates on me, so we can't build another right now. So it looks like it's, once again, the waiting game, just trying to get some of those resources stockpiled. So let's instead go down the river and see what we can find. Make sure I got my Xeno Zapper. Can also head towards this waterfall and see how this looks. Looks like another node for a water turbine. And, ooh, we found another. Where are you at? There he is. Ole! Nice thing about these guys is they are pretty simple to kill early on. As long as you know how to jump over them. And looks like we found another green slug. So I may not have explained this well earlier, but different colors of slug will produce more or less power shards. So these green ones will only produce 1 power shard apiece. But later on, the yellow ones, and especially the purple ones, can produce like 2 and 4 power shards. And we got some lightning bugs again. There we go. It's really fun watching those guys explode in a shower of sparks. Ooh, it's a bacon agaric. And this is actually food. Bacony. And another green power slugs. Hooray. Have we actually... we have not unlocked that. So, unfortunately, a lot of these things we're finding... or, I guess it's almost afternoon. Hello, how are you today, Tornado? And it looks like another power node is right here. Ooh, and this one can actually produce 20 megawatts. So, the one mod adds these nice water turbines. That's great. Tornado Zach, that's a fun username. Into the weather. But yeah, those the mod adds these water turbine nodes, and you can build a water turbine as infinite green energy. But the power generated is determined by the location. And I'm pretty sure the map tries to do a good job saying, like, there's going to be high flow rates at the top of this waterfall, for example, so it'll produce more power than a slow-moving stream. Looks like a limestone node. As am I. I actually have studied meteorology before, so I absolutely love the weather. Later on, I might actually have to cut things short depending on how things go in my forecast region. We're watching the potential for some flooding, maybe even some small hail or a isolated tornado if we're really unlucky. So we'll just kind of see how that goes down, but yeah, it's definitely looking to be an active storm season. I can't wait for it. Almost looks like an African sort of idea going on over here with those trees. Reminds me of those baobab ones. What do you mean by off on the weather patterns? I think it could be pretty rockin' come late March and April. Oh, one of you guys. We're just gonna go this way instead. Okay, yeah, we're just not gonna go over there. Not sure if he'll show up again, but on top of that cliff was a very dangerous enemy. He would have shot blue fireballs at us and probably murdered us very viciously. We have to get some better weapons before we explore too far. The zapper is nice, but it can only do so much against those higher tier mobs. And especially with its short range, it's pretty bad against ranged enemies. Yeah, Texas got absolutely slammed a few weeks ago. Like, that winter storm was crazy. Luckily, it looks like they're back into the warmer temps now, so they can at least try to get repaired before the severe season hits. Hey, buddy, I don't want to hurt you, I just want to zap you. Yeah, punch in the face. Yeah, it's an interesting biome over here. It almost seems like Australia in a way. Just those dune grasses with the sand everywhere. This weird looking thingy. Huh. Wonder what these are from. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Really appreciate it. And I... okay, good. I think we better get a chainsaw before we try to explore anything more wooded. Occasionally it's possible to get stuck into a tree, which is always a blast. Oh, no, just some grass. And I hear two of them. Come on, buddy. Alright, that's both of them gone. And then we can check out whatever this weird glowy thing is. Merker Sphere. Work in progress. Likely this is another one of their items. Yup. A weird alien thing. Impossibly smooth surface, and unfortunately it is still a work in progress, as this game is early access. So it doesn't look like they have those implemented yet to have a purpose, but we'll still collect them anyway. I'm hearing... oh! Fireball boy. Ouch. Come on. Don't have much health here. Die! Come on. Okay. Those guys are annoying. And that's just the lower level version. There are ones that are much higher that'll kill us for sure. What big update are you referring to, Tornado? I like this yellow slug here. Well, this is a nice, peaceful looking lake. And we got some berries too, which I don't have space for. Can we afford to get... we don't need this one flower. More berries. And then we can heal up after that annoying fight. And with that, I think we'll actually start working our way back towards base. We don't want to stray too far this early. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been curious what'll be added with the next one. Should be really good. I know they generally add a few more tiers of items, such as tiers 2 and 3 for basic buildings, or else there's always the higher tier conveyors. Luckily though, we don't have to wait on some of that stuff because we have mods. And some of these mods I have used before, but other ones I will be experiencing fresh with you guys, so we'll have to explore those together. And it looks like, can I get to you? I cannot, huh? You know what? I think I would have to have a chainsaw to break through this little cage here. Where are you at? Shut up, buddy. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay, nice. Yeah, I can't wait for some of the big updates. This game shows a ton of potential the way it's made. It's beautiful, it's got a fun atmosphere, and then depending on your taste, I always love these types of games where you run around and you build everything, so it definitely shows promise for that. The other great thing is, like, I don't think people always realize this, but early access games are really nice in the respect of you can have modders come in and make content, and if it's good enough and enough of people love it, sometimes the creators will actually just implement it into the game. So it's no longer a mod, it's actually just part of the game. Because certain things are just, they're so loved. Like the power suit mod, I haven't personally used it, but I know it's a favorite one on the workshop. And so if enough people keep liking and supporting it, maybe they'll add it base game. Oh, and I think I see another power slug over here. But March 13th, that gives us a few weeks at least before they drop that. Looks like we have a little bit of gas in here. Oh, and a little jump. Well, luckily, we can just bridge that real easily using a conveyor belt. And then we can get this power slug. And it also looks like there might be a crashed ship over there. But I don't think I can reach it just yet. It'd be great if we could, though, because those dropships will generally contain some resources scattered around them. And those resources are generally much higher tier than I can craft this early on. Like, we'd be talking computers and steel beams and other things that are just well beyond what we're capable of this early. So, we'll have to look over there at some point. And it looks like we haven't actually unlocked the map yet, so we'll have to work towards that as well. I hear something nearby. Oh, it's two fireball shooters. How lovely. Yeah, I suspect it will. Oh, crap, he's up here. Didn't think he could climb this high. And there's two of them. Come on. Okay, that's one gone. Okay, now I just gotta take care of this other one. Come on. Whew. Definitely need some berries after that. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's enough branching this far out into the desert without a good weapon. Alright, we'll just try to work our way back towards our base. Maybe go off a little in this direction as well. Take the long way home. Suppose we could also, like early on, it's always a pain trying to walk everywhere, because it is a huge map, so we'll want to get some vehicles. Nice. I'd have to check at some point how many hours I've got so far. Ow. Come on. I think this is world number 3 or 4 for me, but it's the first time in the desert biome. We wanted to have a lot of space to build up a huge factory, so that's why we chose it. Does make early game power a little trickier, though. And you're guarded. I'm just gonna go this way. Ooh, berries. Just pick some of those, thank you very much. Must be some sort of fungal spore type thing. Very interesting. And I hear something. Nice. I want to say, my other saves involved the grasslands, as it was the starting location. It's a good place to get going. Thanks for following, Loki Wolf. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Yeah, the Grasslands is a nice starting area. Everything is pretty well spaced out. You have plenty of water and other resources. This is obviously a lot more open. It does have some of those height changes, though, and it's definitely a lot trickier to get some of the water for coal plants, so that's why early game it's more restrictive, especially the biomass, because most times that's your first source of power is biomass, but here it's you either have to walk a long ways to get to any plants, and even then there's still not a ton. What do you mean by math? Like trying to optimize everything, balance the production lines, or just in general? There are a few things that use water as well, but the primary thing is for power generation. And that'll come into play with one of our mods as well. Yeah, trying to balance everything is always a pain in the butt. The refined power mod, it adds a variant of the coal power. So rather than having a standard coal power plant, we can customize it a bit, and it'll take more components, but it'll be more powerful and more efficient in the long term. Alright, so we're getting a nice little collection of those power slugs going. Yeah, it's a lot of tearing down and rebuilding, especially early game. Because obviously, like, for us, we have very basic starting factory, and we've built a little foundation over here, but we're not using it for anything yet, so it'll get used eventually. We just got to keep working towards it. So we still need cement and wire, and then we can try to build this large building, which has been our goal so far. And then we'll probably also try to work our way towards getting research unlocked. Oh yeah, those higher tier buildings. Have you ever played with mods, Tornado? Alright, well, we have quite a few spicy ones installed that'll make it so we don't even have to worry about balancing everything. We'll just throw it all together and see how much we can produce. For example, you're probably aware we make power shards with all those power slugs, but we have a way to make power shards mechanically, so then we don't have to hunt down the map for every single slug just to try to get a few more optimized buildings. And then we got plenty of other things like those higher tier items, such as higher tier miners and higher tier smelters, constructors. Heck, we even already have access, stupidly, to these tier 5 conveyor belts. Yeah, it's a little broken having tier 5 conveyor belts unlocked when we don't even have tier 2 yet, so... Alright, so we can finally build this thing. I use a special mod manager. It's just called Satisfactory Mod Manager, and it's really convenient. It'll handle pretty much everything. I can say, hey, I want this mod, and it'll download it for me, install it in the right spot, and everything else. Alright, so this thing is going to be huge. We're going to need a lot of space for it. So we'll just put it over here where it's going to be out of the way for now. We might eventually end up moving it, but we'll see. And let's try to make sure we have the front of it. Oh, there's a there's a guy down there. And this is going to be one of my favorite parts, where we just watch all of our resources magically fly through the air to build the thing. Don't ask why, it just works. Are you talking just the tiers in general unlocking, or tiers for certain items such as the conveyors? Alright, so this is our biggest piece of machinery. It is the space elevator, and we can actually watch as it builds itself. And here comes the massive cable, and those arms are then going to grab it. And with that, we now can send things up to space real simple. So this is going to be used to unlock some of our higher tiers. Anything above tier 2, we have to put very special resources into our space elevator. Right away, we're going to need some of those spark platings, which are not cheap by any means. Okay, nice. I think I've managed to get up to tier 5 before, but it's a process. Especially getting some of the plates and the beams, it takes a while to upgrade the space elevator. I have never actually made it to oil production, so this will be a fun experience for us all to get there, make some of those computers and other advanced machines. But the space elevator is by far one of my favorite things about this game. It would be such an achievement for us to eventually build one here on Earth. It is one of those high-end pieces of technology that would change our species. Getting into space would suddenly be cheap and efficient. But you can just see how massive this thing is. It just goes all the way into space. So yeah, let's see. We got a few more iron rods and a few more iron plates. And as I mentioned earlier, Tornado, some mods might be a little broken, like, hey, let's just build hard drives. That's not broken at all, as you're aware, since normally we have to scavenge the map for crash sites and then try to get hard drives that way. Yes, I am aware we do not have the structural materials at the moment to build something that technologically advanced, but it still would be amazing. What to work towards next? Well, I suppose it makes sense that we should try to get more advanced factories up and running. Obviously, we need more plates, and we need screws for that. So let's just make a bunch of screws real quick. Yeah, that's going to be part of the plan. We're going to try to automate screws at some point here. It's just, we needed screws in order to make the things we need to make the things to make the things to make the screws. Gotta love those multi-step processes where even getting automated takes 20 steps. Alright, we got 8 reinforced plates. That'll let us build 3 of these constructors. And it looks like we might actually have a backlog on these iron rods. So what we can do is we will pop down a second constructor, and we'll get rid of this conveyor belt. And we'll put down a splitter here. Try to line it up with exit. And then we can just say half of them. Yeah, that's too small on it. Oh, darn. Got some of these machines too close together, it seems. just back this up then. Alright, reinstall our... Oh, you're encroaching the other smelter. Come on, there we go. Get this plugged back in. And it was producing iron rock, or iron ingots. And then we can go back to trying to get this second constructor online. Plug that one in there. Plug this into here. And then we just run the second belt off of it, and that'll split the ingots into here. And we'll tell this one to also make iron rods. Now, some of you might be thinking, aren't we already producing iron rods? Well, yes, we are, and they're going into this storage bin. But we also want to use some iron rods as well to make other things. So, because we want so many screws, we're going to take those iron rods, and we'll just turn them into screws now. And so our automation continues, as now we are having half of these ingots make pure iron rods, and the other half will go into here and make screws for us. Oh dear. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the lovely sound of us using too much power. Gotta love it. So, unfortunately, that means we need more power generation. Lovely. Luckily, we have enough rods and plates already milled, so we can just pop down another wind turbine. And I don't believe you were here for this tornado, but these lovely wind turbines also have a Christmas wreath still because old models. They generate a nice little bit of power, 10 megawatts apiece, provided they aren't too close to one another. If they get too close, they start to eat each other's efficiency, and we don't want that. But that should hopefully be enough to get back online. Pull lever. And yep, we now have a little bit of surplus. Not a ton, unfortunately, but just enough. And while we're at it, we'll pop down another storage container to put all of our screws into. And with that, we now have iron plates, iron rods, and screws being made. And we can already see them flowing into the machine. Let's see. 2, 3. We'll pop down another power turbine here. As far as I'm aware, we don't have to actually worry about the impacts of pollution on the environment. I do think it would be an interesting thing for them to implement, though. Maybe something about mod, or like hostile aggression, or perhaps they could also do something with weather effects. I think that'd be really fun if they had, like, for example, we're in the desert, they should have some sandstorms, and maybe those have either a damaging effect on us in the environment, or else they could maybe do something to our machines. Another thing that I think would be interesting, if not a pain in the butt for them to implement, is real factories, they never run perfectly. Having worked in one myself, like, they will break down constantly. Like, you will call maintenance so many times a night just because, oh, the machine stopped running how you want it to. So I think that'd be a real fun thing for them to try to put into the game, is just saying, hey, there's going to be random breakdowns. Maybe you have to fix your machine somehow. And as you get higher tiers, it becomes less and less likely for you to have those breakdowns. Mod offers, get on it. Alright, just need to make a few cables so we can put down another constructor over here. And we'll just take out this conveyor belt and replace it with a splitter. And we say that the conveyor doesn't like the shape. Of course. Why would it? Try that again. And there we go. And then we can plug that one back into there, and this one in here. And we can double our cement production, because we're going to need a ton of it. And I don't think I have enough room here to get this in. Oh, maybe I do. Alright, and with that we can just... There we go. Alright, and now we have more cement. So it comes out of here, and both lines will merge into one and go into storage. Yeah, you wouldn't want something like random breakdowns to be too frequent, but just enough to spice it up. And we're going to want some more wind turbines, but unfortunately I don't have enough rods yet, so... And now that it's night, we can see how our lovely space elevator looks all the way in space. Maybe even look up at the stars, or the moon behind it. Or I guess that's another planet, that's the moon up there. Gotta love these alien worlds. Alrighty. Pick up our iron plates, got 180 in there. And we got 62. And 176. So that should be enough to make another couple wind turbines. Now these would generate more if they were higher up, but that is sadly a bit more trouble than we are able to handle right now. And it looks like we can only afford the two, so pop those in. And we can see that we now have a surplus of about 40 to 50 megawatts. So that means we could double the amount of machines we have and we'd still be okay. So let's see what's next. We want to get to work on field research, and we actually can almost do it. We are 8 screws short, so we'll just craft those up. And pop everything into here, and we'll hit the big red button. And I just love watching this thing fly away.
Milestone reached. The molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, will allow R&D to provide new technologies, items, and buildings based on samples collected in the field. To ensure a greater chance of success during exploration, an upgraded tool belt has been provided, as well as an object scanner and beacons. Note: the object scanner requires calibration via the MAM to enable detection of specific objects.
Alright, so what that unlocked for us is the research ability. So we now can build the MAM, or the molecular analysis machine, and that'll be useful for us to unlock a few more interesting items. But it looked like we needed a few reinforced plates to make it. And unfortunately I can only afford one. So we'll just run over to our wonderful new screw machine and see how many it's produced for us. Because each one of these rods that goes in makes 4 boxes of screws. So we have 112. Nice. Alright, so I think we needed 5 of those, and then we can build our MAM. We'll just pop it down right next to our hub for now. Eventually we'll put everything together in a nice organized area, but starting off is always a bit trickier. Okay, so we have a few things we can look at. Alien organisms, so we get those drops from all the monsters and baddies we kill, and those will unlock a few things. We can research flower petals for some reason. We can research our food options, the power slugs, quartz and sulfur, along with a few other things that I'm not sure about. Unknown material. It looks like there's no gold on this planet. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we'll grab our power slugs first, so we can research them. So, looks like that'll just take a second. And we've analyzed the green power slugs.
New recipe unlocked.
Okay, we've unlocked a new recipe. So let's see. It looks
New
like...
research available in the MAM.
Thank you, Ada. She's wonderful at times, and other times she's annoying. So let's see, it looks like we can actually research yellow power shards, scanning for slugs, and overclock production. So we're going to want that right away. Because we can always just boost our factories to be more effective than what they are. So we needed 50 rods, and we have 75. Nice. That was in the MAM, not the other thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and research the overclock, and that'll take a few minutes. In the meantime, we can build some power shards. It looks like we have a total of 9 we can make from our power slugs. And then we'll have to decide what to pop them into. But in the meantime, we should probably try to get as many wind turbines as we can, because those machines will take a lot more power to run fast. We'll just take some ingots from there. That way we can try to make some more iron rods on our own. Alright, we have 400 rods now. That should be enough to get quite a few turbines up in line. So we'll put one there, and we'll put one over here. And we'll put down another one. And another one. And another one. And we'll just fill up this whole area with some nice, clean wind turbines. And we'll try not to get attacked by those guys. And now we just gotta wire them all up. And I am out of cables. Of course I am. Guess we should build a factory for those too. Currently we just have the copper wires. Got about 30 now. Should hopefully get the job done. And we can also probably work towards getting this iron harvested, since we have another node of it. Alright, you're there. Hi there, can't fully read that, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining in and following. Really appreciate it. So right now we're just trying to prepare for... Oh, can I actually... I didn't realize I could do that. Can I... Yes, I can. So I guess, I didn't realize this at the time, but we can actually just chain these directly to one another. We don't have to use the power lines. Oh, yeah, I know who you are. Good to see you, man. How you doing? Thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it. So yeah, we went from producing 90 megawatts to now 170, so that should keep us going for at least a little bit as we start to overclock those things. So how's your day going? It's probably what, 6 p.m. there? Oh, good. We finished our research on overclocking, so now we can go towards one of our buildings. Right now, we know that these need more iron ingots because we're splitting it between the two of them. So what we can do is just pop in a shard, maybe two, and we can just crank it up. So now it'll make 60 ingots per minute rather than just the normal 30. And then we can do the same thing up here and say we want to make another 60 iron ore per minute. Now it looks like we're actually running into a slightly different bottleneck now, which is our conveyors are not working fast enough. Because this thing is producing so much ore per minute, but it's not running because the conveyor is full. So we can boost these things all we want. We can even just throw some more in there to try to speed it up a bit. But unfortunately, it won't matter if the conveyor can't move enough of the ore. We're also going to want to try to speed up these plates a bit. We'll just double their output. And we got a few more. We'll just double our rods. So now we're making 30 rods per minute. We're making 40 plates per minute. Actually, yeah, that's right. And we're making a decent number of screws, probably. And we're now making 80 screws per minute. But as this points out, we definitely have a problem where our conveyor is not fast enough, so we better try to figure out a way we can speed that up. So currently we only have these Mark 1 conveyor belts along with stackable conveyor belts, which actually means we already technically can access our solution. These stack conveyor belts are supposed to be buildable where normally you would need more research for it. So let's see, conveyor belts, where are you? Logistics Mark II, there it is. So this would unlock conveyor belts Mark II, which can transport 120 resources per minute, along with these stackable conveyor pulls, so we can build a ton of these all right on top of each other, and the conveyor lift. Of course, that would require a lot of reinforced plates and rods, versus the much easier way, which we'll just go ahead and kind of cheat a little. So we'll just make a few of these reinforced plates, and that should allow us to instead build this stack conveyor belt Mark II. So this is a Mark II conveyor belt, which we don't technically have access to. But what it allows us to do then is we can come in here and we can upgrade the various segments of this conveyor to Mark II, even though it's a different type of Mark II. Because normally the stack conveyor will just automatically build the stackable poles rather than the normal conveyor poles. So it's a little cheaty, but it's a roundabout way of getting to our goal. Of course, we need more screws and more plates. The other thing we can do is go into our power, and we can already see, having gone up to those overclocking has increased our power consumption quite a bit by at least 20 megawatts. So it's a good thing we put down all those extra wind turbines. Hello, Beatbird. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. No worries, mate. Alright, so we now have 15 of those, and that should hopefully be enough to finish off this conveyor to Mark II. And so right now, we can see that this belt is not full of iron ore, and that belt's not full of iron ore, but this one is completely congested with it. So we'll just click upgrade those, and now it's moving a lot faster. And now this belt is filling up, and that belt is filling up. And with that, we should be able to keep enough iron ore in the system to fully take advantage of overclocking things. So now this can produce 60 ingots a minute, and is going to be using 30 ingots per minute to make... Oh, did we not overclock this one? We did not overclock this one. That's producing 15 rods a minute, and it wants 20. You know what? We'll turn you down a little... and put this shard into here. Now it'll produce 22 rods, and it'll take 15, so that'll be a bit more balanced. But now we're producing 30 iron rods a minute, and we're taking in 30 of those ingots. And this machine is putting out 60 ingots, so we now can have enough for both lines, rather than just one or the other running at half. And over here we're producing 60 plates a minute, and we're producing 30 ingots a minute, so this will actually start to consume more ingots than it's producing, but we can just pop that out and pop this into here, and that'll be more balanced out. Now we're producing 45 and 45. Wonderful. So those will stay in balance for now, until we do more upgrades. Next up, we're going to pop over here, where we're producing our iron wires. Or, not iron, our copper wires. We can produce iron wires, but it's a terrible recipe. So right now we're producing an absolute ton of these iron wires, but we're not using up any of our copper ingots, and we have a total backlog. So what we can do is... Well, we need more cable. Ain't that just wonderful? And we don't have any rods, so I guess I'm heading back to base. Early game, I thought of, do I have this? No. Let's go get it. It's great. So how are things over there, Beatbird? Having a good day? I know last time we had talked, you were busy with school and other work, so... How do I want to do this? You know what? We'll just rip it all up. I don't think I have enough room to work with. So we'll do something a little different here. We're going to put down the constructor again, but this time we'll put it sideways. And we'll put down a splitter, and then we can just run this and run that back into there. Get another... Don't have iron rods. Of course we don't. It's always something we're short on. So what we have done so far is we have increased, or we have started production of screws to be automated. We now have a good couple hundred in there. And then we have also gone through, we have overclocked these machines using some power shards from our power slugs. And so that's making more iron rods, iron plates, and screws for us. Then we have also increased our power production using our wonderful renewable windmills. They still aren't producing a ton of power, but it's enough to keep us at least running for now. And then we are working towards automating our cable production. That way we no longer have to craft those by hand as well. So we were going to build this power line, get everything up, not there. We're plugging everything in. And let's see, you are supposed to make wire. And then we can run you back into your storage container. And then over here, we're actually going to be doing something a little different, as we're going to have this one make wire, and then we will run those wires straight into the next machine, which will then turn those wires into cable. And then if I can get around it and plug it in, and then we'll just put down a storage container to put all of them in. And with that, we are now automating the production of cable. So now we never have to make those by hand again. And this one is still producing just pure wire for us, so... looking at the rates, we're producing 30 wire per minute, and we are wanting to use 60 wire per minute. So unfortunately, we really need to double this one's output at some point. But with that, we're going to take a nice short little break here. We can watch as the wires and cables start to flow into their boxes, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Hi everyone, this is Nova coming to you from the outro. If you enjoyed this segment, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And if you ever want to see my live streams, you can go to twitch/NovaForged, and please do leave a follow as well. I hope to see you in the future, and have a great rest of your day.